In today's video for Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, I'm going to be going over how you can get this awesome looking kind of secret incantation that's a little bit out of the way in order to get hold of, unless you know exactly what you're doing. This thing, the Watchful Spirit, looks absolutely amazing, does kind of a cool little effect where it stays over your head and it will launch off skulls every once in a while. I believe it launches off around about 4 and each one of them will do a bit of damage and you can reapply it pretty much whenever you want. Now the great thing about this, you'll be able to pick it up very early on in the game. You're just going to want to make your way up into this direction, head off to the left hand side, because you're going to want to make it over to this area just here, the Belleroot Tower settlement. Keep making your way through and within a few minutes you'll probably have made it over to the small private altar. This is the grace point you'll be at just here, and you're going to want to head off in this direction. Just keep making your way through. There's a lot of enemies here, so you will need to dodge, dive, duck and dodge again, and just keep proceeding. Avoid as many enemies and hits as you can until you make it to this ladder. You're going to want to climb up the top, and then nice and easy there's going to be the key you're after just at the top here. At that point you're going to go back to the previous site of grace, and then rather than going the direction you were, you're going to chuck a left and you're going to go over to the door that was previously locked. In here is going to be an NPC that you're going to want to kind of talk to, and she's going to talk a little bit of nonsense but just exhaust her dialogue and then you'll be completely good to go. After that you're going to just backtrack along the kind of previous path you were going to, head up in this direction, and we're going to be making it back to where we were with the ladder earlier. So just keep making your way through, avoid as many enemies as possible, or like me just get hit whenever you can, and then just keep making your way over this way across the rooftops. If you need to take the birds out, it probably would be easiest. I'm just trying to avoid whatever I can in order to make it a little bit faster. Make your way past this guy who hits like an absolute truck, and then just go all the way up these stairs. At this point you're going to have a little spiral staircase that you want to go through, and there'll be one of those really annoying quick attack enemies ready to absolutely decimate your health, so try to avoid him if possible. At this point you'll be at the grace point just before the boss of this area, so buff up, do whatever you've got to in order to beat the challenge that's ahead. I'm going to try and keep this as spoil free as possible. There will be a slight spoiler, but as spoil free as possible. After you've defeated it you'll get the Divine Beast Head, and you're going to need this in order to actually reap the benefits of what you want. So grab yourself the Site of Grace just so you've got it as a waypoint. The main thing you got to do is to equip the headpiece next. Then go back to the small private altar, and we're going to just be heading off and going back to talk to our NPC. Pop over there, make your way through. There's no real enemies that come in here that I've seen so far, so you should be okay. And just again speak to the woman, and I believe you've got to do it a couple of times in order for this to actually activate. Exhaust her dialogue just so you make sure everything's good, and she's going to kind of reminisce, tell you a little story, and then hopefully reward you with exactly what you're after, the Watchful Spirit. This thing looks really cool. Hopefully the damage goes up when I invest some points into it, but it's definitely well worth having. As always, there'll be a lot more content away from me, hints, tips, guides and builds. For all things gaming, take care. I'll see you on the next day.